guys, we're just going to hang out. We're going to make games, hang out, have a good time. I got a ton of bugs to work on. And fortunately, it always feels really, really good. It always feels really, really, let me say it again. It always feels really, really good to have a nice list of bugs that is, let me pull my chat out here. There we go. A nice list of bugs that sort of gives you a roadmap for the rest of the year. Hey, Jason, how you doing, bud? Jason says, the last time I was this early was 9 months before my kid was born. But yeah, we have this really cool list of bugs. I'll show it to you in a sec. But we're just going to hang out. We're just going to have a good time. Have a good time. By the way, huge thank you to Ron B., Kyle A. Man, this list is getting long here. Evan S., Jesse A., Brent V., Thomas C., Stephen H., Eric H., Alyssa M., Fabio S., Indrashish, Michael, Max, Thomas, and Kento. Thank you so much for joining Full-Time Game Dev. Full-Time Game Dev, by the way, is the sponsor of today's video. It is my course, so I'm sponsoring my own live streams. And I love it. I love sponsoring my own content, and I highly recommend anyone who's doing YouTube to find a way to sponsor your own content when you're not sponsored by other stuff. It's great, helps pay the bills and fund projects, etc., etc. But more importantly, it is an investment in your future. It's 40% off for the next 10 days and 20 hours. There's 100 seats available, less than that currently. And you're going to learn not only everything I've learned in the last decade of making indie games when it comes to the technical development side of making games, whether it's Unity, Godot, Unreal. Actually, let's be honest here. I use Unity. Godot and Unreal are in the course, but I don't use those. But they are in the course as well. 2D and 3D are taught in the course as well. Code is taught in the course, but some of you have asked this. You've said, but I want to learn how to actually sell my games. Well, that's really a huge chunk. It's like the second half of the course, which is how to turn it into actual money before you finish your game. Whether it's signing with publishers, I've signed 3 deals. Whether it's securing funding from Kickstarter, I've secured funding twice. Whether it's hitting the Steam front page and actually selling your game and making money, I've hit the Steam front page, I think 3 times. The list goes on and on. How to get coverage, how to get press coverage or YouTuber coverage. And also you're going to learn 2D and 3D art taught by an actual indie game dev in the trenches making indie games. That's a pretty sweet deal, honestly. If you want to learn how to make games and do it profitably as an indie, this is the course for you. By the way, if you're a student, let me know in the chat what you think about the program. And let's jump in. Let's jump in. Let me see if I can shrink this down. Can I? Hang on. There we go. Welcome, Death Cloud Games and Nima Breaks Code. How you doing? Come on in, guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hey, if that's not for you, there's also a free webinar below that teaches you how to make 6 figures with just a demo. Excuse me. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at our freaking huge list here today. All right. What do we have, ladies and gentlemen? Well, and some of you might be wondering, you're like, do I really need a list? It's just me, Thomas. I'm solo. Well, I'm solo now too. And I still use ClickUp. Granted, I don't have ClickUp Pro anymore because it's just me. We've got a lot of bugs today. The first thing I want to do is give myself a schedule, okay? So there's just a bunch of really simple tasks here. We've got Chapter 1, Chapter 2, Chapter 3, Chapter 4, and Chapter 5. All of these chapters, basically what this, April through May, it's giving me a playable sort of solid build of the game. It's not perfect. There's not going to be perfect story elements. There's not perfect features and functionality. Steam Cloud Save's not going to be in there. It's not going to be localized. But this is just a playable pass, okay? I've got months after this one, April through May. After May, I've got more months where it'll be story and music and polish. But right now, it's just getting this solid playable pass where it's like, that's a good game. That's a decent game. All right, so Chapter 1's not a lot, so I'm going to have that due tomorrow. I'm giving myself deadlines here. Chapter 2, Mermaid Palace. I'm just scrubbing through here. Let's see here. Yeah, I could probably make this due. I don't think next Friday's that bad, but I would rather give myself a little bit of flexibility. Let's make it the 11th. April 11th is when I want chapter 2 due. So after tomorrow, after I finish chapter 1, chapter 2 I'm going to have due on April 11th. Chapter 3, Clown Casino, there's a lot. I think I could give myself... And by the way, the reason I'm doing this, guys, I'm going to give myself to the end of April for that. The reason I'm doing this, guys, is because I always wake up at 3 a.m. Lately I've been... hey, Stone, how you doing? Lately I've been waking up at 3 a.m. a little bit more frequently. Don't know why, but lately it's been sort of a panic about all of this stuff. I got to get this game done. I have to get this done, or I'll go crazy. I'll go absolutely insane. So I have a specific deadline in mind. And so, God willing, please, Lord, save me, Lord. Save me. Get me done with this stupid project. Please, God. Please, God. Please. Chapter 4, Foreground Forest. When am I going to get that done? Well, I think I could probably get that done mid-May. 16. And then Lightspeed Land. End of May, baby. We'll do the 30th. Actually, yeah, and the 30th. So basically a playable pass of all chapters of the game, rock solid, point A all the way to point Z, is going to be end of May. I have a theory we're going to knock it out before then. Stone Studio says, I'm doing good. Thanks for asking. Just over here making games too. It does not sound... Trent says it does not sound like your mental health is good because of this game. Oh, my mental health is great. I'm doing just peachy. Now, this is just how it is making games, guys. It's not a mental health thing. It's just... but I appreciate it, really. I do. It's not a mental health thing. It's just... I'm ready to be done. It's kind of like senior year of college. Senior year of high school. You're just like, let me freaking wrap this up. I am so tired of this. You know what I mean? I'm just tired of it. I'm tired of working on this game. I want to make a Victorian, beautiful flower. Like these flowers right here are this huge reminder of what I want the next game to feel like. I want to focus on... Chopin in the summer, in the spring. Claude Debussy. Claude Debussy. Claire de Lune, Reverie. But I don't know what the game is, but I know I want it to feel like that. So yeah, that's where I'm at mentally. I'm waiting for Unity to load, by the way. Anderson Concalves says, I just put priority levels on my tasks. I don't use deadlines because I always break them. Is this a bad practice? There's no such thing as a bad practice. There's a bad practice for you. So I couldn't tell you if it's a bad practice unless I really knew who you were and what your personality was. That would be a bad practice for me because I would just keep fixing stuff that was high priority and like polishing and I would never be done. How is the performance on the latest builds? It's fine. I'd give it a C plus. Shay says good sleep matters. I don't get good sleep though. I don't know what's wrong with me. It's like last night I was up at 2:30. I said 3. I got up at 2:30, and I just listened to Way of Kings for like 2 hours because I couldn't go to sleep, and I'm not even tired. Right now, I'm not tired. I don't know. Is your next game going to be stylized or more realistic, 2D or 3D? I have two game ideas. One of them is hyper realistic, but it's going to be small. Oh, I just got chills thinking about it. And then the second one is stylized, flowery, Victorian, romanticism, Claude Debussy, Chopin. Dun, 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 dun. Really relaxing spring vibes with fun ambience and smooth platforming. Can you really call yourself a dev if you over-engineer polish, though? Yeah. Are you into cozy games, Thomas? No. I'm into fluid games. I like movement and motion. A lot of people have said that Twisted Tower is like too bouncy, or you could jump too high, and I'm like, that's what I want. You know, I don't know what else to tell you. So, okay, let's start with the first one. Chapter 1, floor 2 needs to be baked. So let's do that. Floor 2 needs to be baked. Also, the music is all wrong as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to floor 1, and we're going to match the music on floor 1 to floor 2. So floor 1's music is... Because I have this theory. The theory is that players don't want more music. They want less music. In two senses. The first sense is while they're exploring, they want silence. They want to hear the eerie, moody silence. The ticking of the clock, right? The deep, the public domain music playing on a vinyl record. But they also want less music in the sense that it's the same song. If there is a song that plays, it's the same one they heard in the previous level because it grounds them. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're just going to go to the game music here. I'm just going to copy this game music. And then I'm also going to double check something here when it comes to the combat music. We have combat music. Yes. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this. I've reached the point in this game's development where let's see here. Where I've given up on files being properly named. And no, that's not a good practice at all. So this is 160 beats per minute. I'm just copying this down because I can search for this name. So that's the combat music, and the settings are right there. We're going to have to do the combat music first, okay? So we're going to go to floor 2, and we're going to copy these combat settings over. I'm not going to show you floor 2, not much of it, but we're just going to hang out, okay? Let's all hang out, have a good time. I'll show it to you, I guess. I mean, what's the point? It's not like there's millions of people watching. Okay, so I'm going to copy over these music layers. Right here, I'm going to just copy over. The combat music is... Yeah, that's a different track, and we don't want that. We want the same one. Paste. Here's the beauty of having a demo, guys. When you have a demo, you just read the comments and you know what's working. And then you take what's working and you just spread it throughout the game. So if players like what the demo had to offer, I can just apply these same principles throughout the rest of the game. So what I'm doing here is I'm going, okay, well, people really like this combat track. And so we're going to set the values exactly the same as the demo, because the demo only goes to floor 1. So if we look at these, it's 0.9 and 0.7. 2, 4, I'm going to copy all this, actually. Copy. Paste component as new. I'm sorry, paste component values. Good. Nope. We want this, though, to be here. Good. Same here. copy, and then put it over here. Paste component values. Good. Make sure that's there. And that's it, guys. So the combat music is good to go on this floor. What is combat music? It's the music that starts to swell and play if 4 enemies minimum are following the player. In this case, it's actually 2, and then it goes to 4. I'm actually going to change this from... Nope, we're going to keep it. People like the demo, so we're not going to change anything. Let's double check the combat music here. Good. That's correct. That's correct. Awesome. Next up is the exploring music. Now, the exploring music in this game is actually it's essentially a 3D audio source. So it's different in that it's not always playing, and it doesn't just fade to combat music when enemies are following you. Instead, it's little locations where the music fades in, and so it's almost 3D audio. Okay, so go back to floor 1, and I'm going to find the exact track and the exact values. So I'm going to basically copy over the 3D game music, and I've also got public domain music that I want to play as well. So we're going to go to floor 2 here. Now, floor 2's music is basically done. Let me show it to you guys. The way that I'm not using Fmod, I'm just... Man, that fog, I wish I could just disable it. Okay, so watch this. If I bake the lights, you're going to see that the level actually goes a lot I can move around the level a lot faster in the scene view. So I'm going to go ahead and bake the lights. But let's look at this music really quick once this is done here. Okay, so if I paste in that new game music, this one right here, we have the intro area. So it's right there. You can see it right there. So when I enter this area, you're going to hear public domain music. So what is that music on the other floor? I think it's from Steamboat Willie. So I'm going to bring that over here. Okay. What about the game music areas? It's a song called Floor 1 Twisted Tower Horror Ambience 2. So we're going to drag that in as well. Looks like the lighting is getting reset, perhaps? No. Did it finish? It did finish. Okay. We're going to drag that in as well. So it's that one right here. So I'm just going to drag it in here. I promise this will make sense. Crap, I lost it. I think it was this one. So you can see here we have this. This plays when you're in the actual game. I'm sorry, when you get out of the introduction of the level, once you get here, it'll start to play. And I'll show you guys how it works. So that track, I think it was this one. Good. All those other public domain tracks, they need to be Steamboat Willie as well. Whoops. Yeah, that'll do. Okay. Are you adding any pop-ups so content creators know the music is all copyright free? That's a great idea. But it is very important. I should probably do that, shouldn't I? I should bloop. All music in this game is written by the developer or copyright free. Okay. So overall, guys, I think that's... Let's double check the game music area. Yep, it's right there. This is the song. It's a really cool song written by Chris Palazos. I'll be completely honest with you guys, I want to write the music for this game so badly. But I just can't find the time. I keep trying and I can't find the time. All right, so what we want to do is we want to think, okay, what are some areas that would be really good to play like spooky music? Well, let's see here. That hall would be cool. Because you really don't want this music playing all the time. You really don't. So what we could do is we could do like right here is game music, and then right here and here are public domain tracks. So let's decrease its distance. Whoops. So the way I've written this code for this audio is that if you get within the context of the 3D audio range, it'll fade it in. It's not actually 3D. It behaves as 2D. It switches to 2D, but it still remembers its spatial, its range. Kind of strange, I know. I actually think, let's think here. I think once they get about here, we want to begin playing those tracks. But there's also an upstairs apartment area that we want no, we don't want the music playing there. That's great, Thomas. That's a really good idea, buddy. Thanks, man. Basically what we're going to do is, it really helps to do isometric mode, by the way. We're going to do a big, wide game music, and it plays right here. But once you go upstairs, it's going to go back to this music here. Okay? So if we take, I can actually just delete the public domain music entirely, and I have this little object called intro game music. It's just public domain Steamboat Willie music. But basically what we could do is if we look at it from the side, we could see, okay, so the player's going to be able to go, if I press F here, the player's going to be able to walk all over this area and get the Steamboat Willie song. That's perfect. Yeah, just like that. And then the game music, we're going to fade it out a little. We're going to actually make it bigger. Make it much, much wider. But if we move it like that, it's sort of a flat line here. Obviously, we could use something like volumetric audio that uses cubes, but this is fine. Bethesda always starts their games with the music, so it sets the tone of the game. Cool. Okay. There we go. Nope, the way we want to start this game is we want to start with silence. I'll show you. We're going to see if this works. Let's double check here. Make sure that that's... Yep, musical play there. Musical play there as well. Yeah, that's a perfect place to start, honestly. And then that will play. That should behave as 3D. Let's double check. Yes, good. Okay, so you'll barely hear it over here, which is awesome. That's what we want. How's the reverb zone? It's good. What about the lighting? It's 0 indirect and 1 albedo boost. That's good. What about occlusion culling? Yep, that's all set. So let's enter game mode and take a look at. And what we're really studying here is we're looking at, and hopefully you guys can learn a little bit here. I'm not perfect, but hopefully you'll learn about how ambience helps a game so much. Oh, start the development of the game, not the player starting in the game. Is that what you meant? Okay. So let's hear it. That might be a really good moment to say, like, "Hey, effer!" Something like that. But we have time to do that task. We're not working on that task right now. Stay focused on each task. So far, so good. That ambience is perfect. Okay, so that's a glitch there. We need to fix that one. Okay, how's the music? Fading out, good. I think we need to change the max enemies. Okay, so great. Now the music is starting. See? Okay, we don't have light probes. Yeah, we need light probes. Yeah, there's... Oh, I don't think there's a reflection probe. No, we have a light probe issue. Yep, but this is great, guys. Seriously. I'm going to go to floor 1 and floor 2, and I'm going to officially make the call that we want the combat music to only start when 4 enemies are following, not 5. So it's sort of a change of what the demo has to offer. But I did notice that when I was playing the demo, I thought, man, you know, that combat music starts playing too soon. So I'm going to set it to 3. Max enemies for minimum volume, 4, and then this one is 4 to... Yeah. I mean, I'm going to set that at 5. There we go. So just moving it up by 1. So you really need 3 enemies to follow you if you're going to get music. At first, I thought these quick cutscenes weren't needed, but now, after having some people play my game, I 100% understand why you have that. Cutscenes are such a great tool for low-budget games. They're really easy to make. You can just do a narrative drop, and then the player feels like they're in a world. I'm considering doing cutscenes between every chapter. They're almost like boss battles, kind of. They're a beat. A boss battle is a beat, and a cutscene is a beat. If you could have both, even better. But yeah, that's sad. You said the giraffe's projectile went through the pillar. It's a glitch we're gonna work on. Okay, moving on. What was I doing? Yes. We're gonna go to the explore music stack. So it's called music layers, and we have 2 layers of combat music. We're gonna go 3 to 5, and then we're gonna do 5 to 1,000. So those are the 2 layer combat music stacks. Although I don't really see the... Oh, I see. So combat music 1 is just a little bit loud. Combat music 2 is like 0.9. It's almost at full volume. So it's just 2 layers of volumes, basically, which is a really hacky way to do it. But okay. So did you guys see kind of what we did there with the ambience and the music? Less is more, in my opinion. Just have one little area that has music playing. But I've found with these levels, for the most part, having just distant public domain sounds playing is really unsettling. Okay, we can clear that task out. Let's actually go to... God bless me. Let's go to floor 2 here and double check the bake. My theory is there's not a lot that baked, and I don't know why. So let's go to the game. Excuse me. And take a look. You could tell if something's been baked or not, guys. If you see normal maps, that's real time. Like, it's pretty straightforward. Also, light probes. We don't even have light probes. So let's go to our light probe group. Edit light probe, select all. Yeah, our light probes are all effed up. Look at this. This is all wrong. So watch this. We're going to go to Tools. We're going to first delete all of them. Now, those are ones that are connected to doors. Why did they not bake, though? I'm not sure. But let's generate light probes. Tool, window. Generate light probes. Drag in the object we want the light probes to generate onto. This will take a while. Let's go ahead and take a look at our tasks, though, and clear them out. By the way, those of you just joining us, just remember you can join full-time game dev for the next 10 days at the spring sale discount, which is 40% off. This is a really, really big discount. I do this probably every season. I'll do some kind of sale like this one. This one, you get 2D and 3D Art Pro completely free when you purchase the course. Join 4,500 students worldwide. Learn how to sell your games. Learn how to hit the Steam front page. Learn how to get people to write articles about your game. Learn how to make a game in Godot, Unity, or Unreal, 2D or 3D, take your pick. Learn how to do beautiful art. The list goes on. It's massive. It's a huge course taught by an actual indie game dev. And hey, some of my students even went full-time, which is really cool, including Chris, Bart, Everflux. And I'll give you a shout-out tomorrow in the live stream. Okay. What are we going to do here? Level music. Knock that out. See how good that feels, guys? Lists are your best friend. One of the I would say one of the primary drivers of anxiety for me, I'll just speak for me, but this might be true for you. One of the primary drivers is basically you don't really know where the finish line is and you don't really know what you have to do. So it almost feels infinitely heavy, especially with games. So putting it all on a list and knowing, okay, as long as I just keep making my way through this list, I'll have a pretty solid product at the end of the process. All right, coffee's cold, but who cares? Jump scare for the ducks around the corner. I think that would be great. Enemies can shoot at Ticklin' Tommy pickup and bullets don't go through it. That's a problem. Remove knife when Walker dies. Okay, but let's go ahead and take a look at our light probes. Okay, our light probes are officially generated, so you can see them now. Does anyone know what just happened? These light probes are being placed on what? What do you think the light probes are being placed on? And it's an auto light probe generator. What are those being placed on? Does anyone know? Let's also look at our reflection probe. I feel like we have an issue with our reflection probe. It's really dark. But it doesn't look horrible. Yes, the nav mesh, good. It finds the nav mesh and it places light probes on the nav mesh. Because that's where most dynamic objects are going to be. And that's light probes affect dynamic objects after a bake. So we have a reflection probe and it sort of wraps the whole level. So, I mean, we should be seeing... I don't see why some of the enemies are like just black. Let's see how many... let's take a look at our lighting here. I want to see how many lights are in the scene. How many real-time lights. Okay, so we have a ton of... we have way more real-time lights than we do mixed lights or baked lights. No, that's not true. Okay, it's about 50-50, which I think every level in the game is 50-50. You've got some real-time and you've got some baked. We might have to do more baked, but... And I'm going to take a guess. We might need to do a albedo boost, but we're not going to do an albedo boost, which is right here. Let's go ahead and generate the lighting. And hopefully the characters aren't going to be black now, because that would be weird now that we have correct light probes. Are we bug fixing the whole game? Yep. For the next 2 months, it's going to be going through every single level. I played through the whole game yesterday and today. And it was crazy because it's like there's a lot of it that's good, and then there's a lot of it where it's like I can't even progress because something is so bad. And that's why it's important to play through your game. Just play through the whole thing, and you'll experience all of the issues that your players will. Okay, so let's double check and see what happened here. Are there any things that are just black? So you can see here, you can always tell when something's using a, when something's baked versus, or when a light is real time. You could tell that this is real time. Who knows how you can tell this is a real time light? Does anyone know? The way I can tell that this is a real-time light is you could see the normal map and you can see the metallic really well. And so this is mixed. So it's real-time, but it bakes the indirect. So you can see some indirect there. This room here, I believe there's a real-time in here. That's baked. Okay, good. So we're getting some reflection probe data. Yeah, this one's baked right here. The bake is going to look muddy because I'm using 2 texels. And I'm super grateful to Felipe because I sort of gave him a guidebook on what I wanted all the lights to look like for the bake. And he went through every level. Yeah, you could tell that there's some, I think that's real time, but this is baked. So do we have issues with black enemies? That's black, but no, okay, we're good there. That's good. That's good. I haven't found a single black enemy. Okay. So yeah, I think we're good, guys. That is strange. What's going on there? I think it's because this is, I think that's real time. Let's double check. Oh, it's mixed. It really shouldn't be mixed. You know, but okay. It's fine for now. We'll go in and make things more baked and reduce the amount of real-time lights if necessary. But yeah, the lighting, it looks fine. It's not the thing is that when you bake lights, unless you're like a hardcore professional and you've got a ton of team members making it look amazing, it's gonna look meh. It's gonna look meh. I'm gonna actually set these to complete. No, that's fine. Enemies can shoot at the Tickle and Tommy pickup, and bullets will stop. So let's go to the Tickle and Tommy. So it's called Pickup Automatic. There it is. Why are there 3 pickups? What's that? Oh, that's ammo. Okay. Ha. Weird. So the bullets are hitting this sphere here, which is the standing pickup trigger, which is set to a default layer, but it's a trigger. And so we want, wow. So enemies can shoot at pickup sphere colliders, and they'll stop based on getting hit. So if this enemy shoots at me and it hits that sphere collider, it'll stop, which is not good. So let's go ahead and figure out what we can do here. Let's go to our projectile script. And I think all we need to do is just say, look, if it's a trigger, we might need to keep the trigger script in there. I think there's an on-trigger enter script in there. Would I do 3D after this game? No. I think I might be ready to go 2D. I think I'm ready to go back to 2D. Okay, here's the impact. There should be an on-trigger enter. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So I think all we got to do is this. Don't do anything if it's hitting a standing pickup trigger. So if call.getComponent standing pickup break, right? Is it break? No. Yeah, break. Is it break or is it return? Yeah, it's return. Thomas, you're so dumb. Yeah, let's try this. So what we're going to be looking for is when we enter this room, if the guy with the pistol, if his bullets are not passing through this, it's still not working. Clear the save data. And I think we can just spawn ourselves over here. I thought I cleared the save data. This looks so good, though. I love it. Fleepy did so good. I'm so tempted to make this game toon shaded. I've been tempted for 3 years to make it toon shaded, but I know people won't like that. $3D is definitely a scope creep issue for sure. Okay, so this enemy should see me. No, okay. Well, this is the right side path. Let me turn it on. It's not loaded. Right side entrance. No, it's not that. Hub? No. Right side hall. What? Nope. Which one is it? Nope. What? Am I on the left side? You can always tell, guys, you can always tell when there's baked light in light probes, when you could see that there's no, with dynamic objects, you can always tell because you'll see enemies that look flat, and even this gun kind of looks flat. There's a lot of light probe information going on right here. It's not directional. Crap. Why is that stopping? Look. Hang on. How do you know my friends haven't been writing to me? Really, it shouldn't be. They shouldn't be stopping with anything that. We need to do a bunch of else ifs here, honestly. If it's a damageable entity, do this. Okay. Hold on. What? What's the point of this? I don't see the point of this at all. Oh, we're finding the damageable entity. Okay. Okay, good. So if it's a damageable entity, do a collision. If it's a player, do a collision. Otherwise, no. Don't collide. Right? If it's a trigger, we really don't want it to collide. Let's double check. Do I have any on collision enter? Yeah. So why do I even have this here? You know? Why is this even here? It shouldn't be colliding with triggers unless that trigger is the player or a damageable entity. Okay. Yeah, I feel like that's going to work. I do. Let's try that, guys. That was weird. So his bullets are hitting the walls. Or hitting the triggers where the doors are. Okay. Let's try this again. It's crazy that I shipped the demo this way. Let's just start here at the beginning. And hopefully we get some cool results. Projectile. Ready? Oh crap, it works. What about these balloons? Ow. Sweet. I smell spaghetti. So I don't know, you know? I think that's gonna be okay. Gordon. Do you think the bugs are there due to different programmers working on the same mechanics? Yes, I mean, sure. I think the bugs are probably there because of Gordon. But no, the truth... I'm joking. The truth is that the bugs are there because the bugs are there. Okay. You know what I mean? The bugs are there because the bugs are there. I'm going to just do one more test to be absolutely effing sure that that bullet is not colliding with the standing trigger. Gordon says, we went over this. I only write the good code. What's your method to test a prototype and validate if a game is fun? Test it with a sample size of people who are friends, family, people who care about you. You don't want to test it with friends who don't care about you. You don't want to test it with friends who want you to suffer. And yes, those exist. They actually do. How many of you can think of friends and family who want you to suffer? And who want to critique you and who want you to fail? Don't test it with those people. Test it with friends and family who like genuinely want to see you succeed, but are honest. Then you also want to test with gamers who like these kind of games. If they don't like these kind of games, don't test with them. Just don't do it. There's no reason. It's just you're just gonna suffer more. Yeah, Gordon's right. They do really need to be fully honest. Tugmac says, "What are friends?" Jason says, "I'll make you suffer. I'm that friend." The truth is, though, Jason, you are the friend who really wants me to succeed. And so your feedback was incredible and really, really helpful. Let's just bring ourselves over here. Hopefully the right side will be open to us. It is, good. I actually want these lights to turn on and then to do some sort of cinematic moment there. No, we got a lot to do. Oh, Thomas, you dumb effer. Why am I... Oh, don't max out. That's the problem, bro. Don't max out. I'm giving myself all of the weapons, and this weapon isn't appearing. Okay, so this guy is inside of the right side entrance. So all we got to do at this point, guys, is just go back to play mode. Hey, Dragon. How are you? Okay, so there it is. Let's turn it on and watch what happens. Good. Hey guys, I have a tip for you that I learned. The difference, but this is what's so difficult about game dev. The difference between a great game and a really bad game is potentially a month of polish. And that's so frustrating because you might hear game developers and veterans say, look, don't put lipstick on a pig. Or, Thomas, do you know about sunk cost fallacy? Blah, 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 blah. People were saying that to me about the demo last year in May. Like, I don't know, do you really want to polish this up? And it's like, is it worth it? And all I needed was like 3 months to just polish the crap out of it. So the chapter 2, 3, 4, and 5 of this game are kind of mediocre. They're not great, but I know what I did to chapter 1. And all I need to do is just go in and polish it. Okay, that's fixed. You guys want to go ahead and knock this out? So enemies can shoot at the Ticklin' Tommy pickup and bullets don't go through. This actually solves a lot of problems. We need a jump scare sound for the duck around the corner. So there is a duck right here. I believe he's up here. Yes, this one. So the way we do jump scares, pretty straightforward. All we do is we change the awake sound to a jump scare sound. Yeah, you can't polish it. You can't polish a turd. You're assuming that I've actually learned it. I believed that last year. I don't believe that anymore because you don't know what a turd is until you polish it. It's a catch-22. You don't know if it's a turd until you polish it and find out, yeah, it's a turd. Sometimes it's not a turd. It's a diamond that needed to be polished. You don't know. All right. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to just copy over from what floor 1 had. Floor 1 has a really cool jump scare that it seems to get everybody who plays the demo. So I'm going to go find that Walker shotgun. I'm going to find where his jump scare is or what values he's using. Yep, this one. So this guy here, he's using some cool jump scare sounds. There it is. It's called Duck Jump Scare, and it's a volume of 1. Pretty straightforward. So I'm just going to use that one over again. And guys, you'll notice that games, especially games from the early 2000s, which we're trying to replicate here, they reused jump scares and they reused jump scare sounds. So it's totally fine. So is there a duck somewhere around the corner here? Let's see. No. There's none here. So there's not really a jump scare opportunity on the right side here. And this is the right side path. There's 2 paths you can take for this level. So I wish there was a jump scare here that we could use. I think there is. No, he's not in there. I think he's in here. There he is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to position him around a corner here. I love another thing that I was told by some people is, Thomas, don't put enemies around corners. It feels bad. It feels cheap. Yet I'll watch streamers play and they have a blast with that. They love it. Make sure he's on a nav mesh. He's not, so we need to rebake the nav mesh. I'm going to get rid of this bed, actually. Just move that over here. Just so there's plenty of room for the jump scare to occur. Because I don't want the player to fully see the shadow. Yeah. So the player will just walk through here and... Dong! Right there. So let's do duck. I had a great conversation with Thomas Maller. I don't know if you guys watched the podcast with him, but that posted yesterday, and the full one drops tomorrow. And here it is, duck jump scare. But he was just talking to me about how it's just really frustrating how everybody has a right way to do things, and I totally agree with him. It can really make people have analysis paralysis. There's our nav mesh surface. We're just going to clear and then bake, and now we have a nice little nav mesh for our jump scare duck. Okay, these are super loud. I know that I want to make these more quiet, but I think that's another task. It's probably not, actually. So let me open it up here. They're super loud. So let's go to this and do 0.4. Actually, let's do a max distance, actually. Let's do 20. That way you can barely hear them, only when you're super near them. That rhymed. All right, Tuck Mac, sounds good. Did you like it, Daryl? Okay, so we got one jump scare on the right side. See, the thing about this game is most levels have multiple paths, and so I have to basically ensure that the player's experience is so they get the same sort of excitement on both sides. You really don't want to vary it too much. So right over here, I have to do the same thing with this duck. You know what I found out about this game is the enemy AI really does not function well in open spaces. And so there's certain chapters of this game where it's not great with open spaces. So I have to go in and solve that problem for chapter 4 and 5. But when they're around corners like this, it's really fun. All right, we'll do a duck jump scare here. This one. So if you want to hear what the sound sounds like, guys, this is what it sounds like. Right? Do you want to test it? We can go ahead and test it. Did you ask Thomas whether he's using a custom license for Unity? No, I didn't. I really like Thomas Maller a lot. I've found that the people who have really spicy takes on Twitter tend to be the nicest guys. Okay, so let's go down here. There they are. And let's hear this sound. So they're going to be looking up here. Oh, crap! I want to be able to break that glass, so we're going to... I think we're going to do it. No, we're fine. We're not going to set that up. We only have these... We're going to have a nice little... Hopefully, we'll have a nice month of polish. But hey, guys, we just got the jump scare done. Add a truly unique and story-driven jump scare to the upstairs area. Holy crap, I'm about to get all this done. I need more coffee. Remove knife from Walker when he dies. Why are we doing that, guys? Does anyone know? Because players are like, I don't want the hammer, I want the knife. And they see this knife. So what we're going to do... We need to delete these. That's an optimization issue I didn't think about. Anyway, on death, you can see here, deactivate object on death. I'm going to deactivate the knife. On death. Okay. Here we go. Well, if we delete them, Gordon, I'm worried that this, because this is the root enemy, I'm worried that all those meshes will delete all the other enemies, and the game's not done yet. So it's kind of like rasterizing art. I'm not ready to rasterize it just yet. All right. So that'll do. Pistol enemy, let's double check him. Deactivate his gun. Good. I know for a fact we can just go ahead and clear out another task. Walker chain gun or Walker machine gun. We need his to disable. Yeah, so like this character, Gordon, is a root, or his root is the Teddy. And so I'm worried that if I delete all the armor, all the graphics, but these delete on awake. That's the thing. But you really don't want to delete things on awake like that. Like that's a ton. Like if we've got, let's say, 30 enemies in a scene and we load it, you're gonna have basically 100 different things getting destroyed at once. So maybe what I can do is make the Walker. We're close. But I'm going to add that to my list so I don't forget. That's going to be in my functionality month where I do story and final features. I'm going to go to, I'm going to create a new one here called cleanup. I can't show it to you because it's like launch week. But I'm going to go to cleanup and then I'm going to say destroy all meshes inside enemies that are unnecessary. This is especially a problem if you're loading enemies into a scene. You're going to have all these meshes using destroy. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and deactivate his automatic. What is that? That's nothing. So that's why it wasn't deleting, because it was a blank object. So that gets destroyed when he dies. What's the plan? To break them out as their own prefab? Yeah, so I'd right click here and I would go prefab unpack. That way he's not linked to the base enemy type. Yeah, it is a big optimization issue. But I'm not ready to rasterize just yet. Okay. By the way, those of you just joining us, just remember to check out Full-Time Game Dev below. It's 40% off for the spring sale. There's less than 100 seats available. Actually, less than 90 seats available. I'll shout you out in tomorrow's live stream. You're going to learn everything I've learned in the last decade if learning from an actual indie game developer who's making indie games and has been published 3 times, has had 2 successful Kickstarter campaigns. If that's something you're interested in, then you can learn from me. Click the link below, 40% off, and you also get 2D Art Pro and 3D Art Pro completely free, which are my art programs. The cool thing about my programs is I focus specifically on indie. Like, how do you make money as an indie? How do you make art as an indie? How do you not get bogged down with all the unnecessary information that you don't really need to know? Okay. Well, that's already fixed, so I'm going to go ahead and just... let's see here. Add a truly unique story-driven jump scare to the upstairs area. Why the upstairs area? Because it's an area where both paths merge. And so if I'm going to make something truly unique and special in that area, I don't have to do it twice. So it's in an area that is not a unique path. Remove knife from Walker. Good. Chapter 2. Okay, we're not going to move on to chapter 2. Okay, so we need to brainstorm here. What's a truly unique and story-driven jump scare in the upstairs area, right? I'm going to try and answer Horror Lake's question here. Horror Lake said, "Hey Thomas, could you speak to your favorite?" And by the way, let me know if I'm peaking, guys, or clipping the audio. I've got it on safe mode, so I'm talking loud, and I realized I might be peaking. Hey Thomas, can you speak to your favorite tips or methods on establishing a pace to the story? I was just about to talk about this, but I'll answer it here. Also, at what point do you determine an adequate playtime to shoot for? Playtime I don't think about. It's not something I really care about. I've noticed I get empty canvas syndrome. Well, the only way, and I think I understand what you're saying, Horror. The only way that I establish a good pace for my game story, I guess, aka where the beats are, I just feel it. And who knows if I'm good at this, but the demo, people seem to really like the demo of the game, and it's like, so I think I understand how to do this. How did I know, for example, that I need a story-driven jump scare in the upstairs area? Well, I chose an area where it would be easy to do, but because it's not a unique location, the player has to go through that area, so they're going to get a jump scare story moment. But also, they I just feel it. I was playing the demo yesterday, or the game yesterday, and I thought, you know what? Right here, right when I go up these stairs, is a good spot to do some kind of jump scare story moment. So we need a story moment right here in this room. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create, it's going to be something like a trapdoor. What I want to do is have how big is this piece? Yeah. I want the player to fall through this. It needs to be cheap, though. What if we did like a cool visual here of like an enemy standing there and it breaks? We need to brainstorm this. Okay, let's keep going. We got a bathroom here. Maybe this light turns on. And there's like a big message on the walls. Like a bloody message right there. Yeah, I think I'm okay doing that. I mean, it's pretty simple to do. This one, you really don't need this many lights. This I want to do real time. And we're going to clear this out. We're going to clear the baked data. This has to be real time. Why? Because I'm going to turn this on. Because what I want is, why do I have baked data right there? What's going on? What is that? Oh, that's that. I see. It's the window lighting. So this whole thing, guys, I'm going to walk in here and it's going to turn on. Like that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have giggling sounds, and they're going to come from behind right here, and they'll attack me from behind. Does that sound fun? What do we think? So I see a dark room just like this. I enter it, and the trigger will happen right here. The light will turn on, and enemies will come from behind. So let's do that. Let's create a cool little trigger zone here. So we have this window. Let's see if we can also collect our enemies. What is this? Okay, there's one walker. So all three of these walkers here, I want to group them together. So these are walker, red room walkers to spawn. And I'm going to group them with the window. Or just put them near each other. Okay. So both of these, we can call it red room jump scare sequence. Jump scare sequence. Yeah, this will be cool. Now, the red room, what I want to do is brighten it a little bit, make it really nauseating almost. So we'll crank up the intensity like this. Shadows are on, so that's good. It's like buzzing. And I kind of feel like we want to have a neon light or something. I'm going to have the giraffe spawn. Oh, that would be cool if they're like all three around you. It's like, oh crap. So what we're going to do is we're going to see how it feels. And it's not hard to do this, by the way. And they're all going to be asleep as well. And we'll do this one, we'll do behind you. Oops. These kind of sequences, guys, they add a ton of value to your game. Most games, especially indie games, they're just a straight up boring loop. Not boring, but just a pretty standard loop over and over and over again, right? And in this case, oh man, no, you really need it to happen like right here. Right here. So in order for okay. Yeah, okay. I've got it. So I want the player to see them. Was I talking about something else though? I think I was. Yeah. So he'll be like right there. So as long as I have like a box collider right here, I'll hit it and then I'll see all three get up from the ground, right? Yeah, it's like dropping into a pit of snakes. I think this will be really cool. By the way, what we need to do here is all of this. So for example, this light here, this window lighting, I'm going to disable that. You'll notice that, where's that light coming from? Is that this? Yeah. We're going to turn off the ambient light and the ambient color here. I want this light to just be a subtle flickering light when I walk in this room. So we're going to have it on. See that? And it's going to be so freaking subtle. We need something, and we need it to be indicating where the player needs to go. So like there's a platform here, right? Really subtle. Reduce the range. Just so the player can barely see. That was a great idea, whoever mentioned it. So there's a platform here we know we need to jump on, right? And I'm going to have it flicker. This needs to be real time. And we're going to add a little flicker to it. Subtle and constant. Okay. So I walk in here, and I see that little flickering light. I'm not going to see any of the enemies, and I'm okay with that. This game kind of feels like a psychological horror game. Now, I won't say whether it is or not, but it feels like one. Let's see here. Gordon, if you're still in the chat, get rid of the beast. You can ban him forever. Whoever, if there's a mod in the chat, you could ban him forever. I think it's the beast. Yeah. Okay. So we need a trigger. So an object activation trigger. Thanks, Gordon. And I'm going to take this object activation trigger and I'm going to put it right next to, I like to have everything nice and organized, so I'm going to put it right here. Oops. That's what I'm wondering, Mason. Okay, so it's going to be right here. And it's going to be a really cool jump scare sound. I'm going to rotate it 0, 0, 0. And it's going to occur right. I'm going to turn off the lighting here. Why is that? I need to move this to 0, 0, 0 like this. There we go. Okay, it's right there. Thanks, Mason. So right there, it'll appear. We'll make our way towards that, and then this will activate. Once I get into this object here, as long as it's not interfering with any other areas of the level, we should be good. You want to be really careful with these. Yeah, so we don't want it to get in the way of that right there. But I think overall that's good. Yeah. So the player can't avoid it, essentially. So they're going to touch this trigger, and what's going to happen is those enemies are going to appear. So all of our Red Room walkers, those are going to appear. I'm not going to have them asleep, actually. There we go. Also, the window lighting will appear. Right? So it'll turn on along with our walkers. And I'm just going to make sure these are not sleeping. Now here's the thing. I played the next levels of this game this morning, and there's a lot of parts of the game where you're getting swarmed. Swarming in this game is not fun. It's such a pain in the butt. It's so unfair. My theory, don't swarm the player with enemies. Make the individual enemies harder towards the end of the game. So I'm just going to make them harder. But this isn't going to be that challenging. They're just walkers. But it's scary, you know? So let's make sure they're not sleeping. Yep, there it is. Is playing dead walker. Turn that off. And then we need a jump scare. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a jump scare sound. So let's go to artlist.io. Good, Soul Engine. Brain Rot says, I feel like the game would be so much easier to make it Unreal. I mean, I don't even know. What do you guys think? I have no idea what to say to that. I want spaghetti so bad. We're going to look for a jump scare. And then we also need giggles. And we need it to echo. It needs to be this cinematic moment. We can do so much with sound. Great. Good. I like it. We'll take that one. We're also going to take a horror strings. That's perfect. We'll grab that one as well. We want a mixture. Here we go. Don't use artlist.io, guys. It's so expensive. And then we'll do a light flicker. Light break. It needs to be like a light turn on. There we go. We'll make a higher pitch sound. Oops. And then we'll do a laugh.
I see him.
So both of those, all of these, we're going to take all of those. Guys, I have this weird thing. I don't know what the phenomenon is called. I want to create a framework for it, though. How many of you in the chat, and you don't have to feel this way, but how many of you feel like you always have to make something new and you don't want to reuse stuff you've already made? I don't know what I would call it, but like when it comes to sound, I always want to redo it and I always want to make a new sound. And I'm like, no, just use what you have, and that actually strengthens your game. It gives it a stronger identity. There we go. Tracks, mix and render. ADHD, yeah. Tracks, mix and render. And then we're going to add a little bit of a reverb effect to this one. Why am I doing a new sound effect for this one? Because with this one, it needs to sound red. I don't know how better to describe it. It just has to sound different. And I don't think I have a jump scare yet where lights turn on and you see a bunch of enemies. So I'm not sure if that exists yet. But let's do a smaller room size. Pretty wet. Okay, pretty good. Let's make sure it's at -10. Guys, some of you have some incredible ideas in the chat. However, remember, we're trying to stick to a timeline and a budget here. That's why it's important to outline exactly what changes you need to make for your game, especially towards the end of the game's development, because it gives you an idea of, while you're working on something, how much time you can spend on it. The player's gotten plenty of unique experiences. Like the demo, the first 2 levels are packed with jump scares and story beats. So right now I'm just doing a little bit more, just salting the second level, because it doesn't need much more. And I think this one's good. As long as we give a sense of quiet to the previous 3, like the previous minute of gameplay, then this will work. You can't have a bunch of combat and then do a jump scare. So I'm going to test this out and see if this is good enough. Sometimes it's good to let the player have a break. All right, so this is going to be called Jump Scare Teddy laughing while light turns on. Yeah? Export that. Scope creep is such a funny idea. You know, it's frustrating. Scope creep, I don't even know if I believe in it anymore. If it's fun, it's not scope creep. Like what did Brandon say? I've been listening to a lot of Brandon Sanderson lectures and podcasts, and he talks about how you can create an outline for your game, for your book or your story, and you can stick to it, but at some point you have to cook. And sometimes cooking requires tasting and changing and tweaking spices, and that some would classify that as scope creep, and it could be, but it might not be. You know, sometimes you have to just test it out. All right, we have an activate sound, which is going to be this jump scare. As long as it's 2D, I'm not okay. I'm fine with it. And so that should play through this audio source, which is, yep, right there, and it's set to 1. It's got a reverb. We're going to do a reverb zone mix of 1. It's 2D, so that's good. And it should play through the SFX good. So as long as, I'll tell you this, we need a state, a game state, or I'm sorry, a transform state for not a transform state, a saved object. Is that what it is? A save state? Crap, I can't remember. Object state. Crap. Gordon, what was it called, bud? Do you remember? Hint cameras have it. Drop gate camera activator. Enabled state. Got it. So this this needs an enabled state on it, and I think you can do separate objects with enabled state, so it saves. Yeah, optional which object. We're going to do 2 of them. So it's going to be this one, and then another one. And it's got its own GUID, which is good. And that's the window lighting. So these 2 states will save. And all I got to do is make sure I generate GUIDs. Yay, so those have their own unique GUIDs, so that's good. And these things will turn on. And then the object activate trigger, it needs its own enabled state as well. Or does it? No, it does. Yeah, it needs its own enabled state. Yeah, it's for itself. There we go. Okay, let's test this out. So the idea is you're going through this vent here. There's no enemies. It's kind of spooky. There's nothing going on in here. No enemies, no enemies. We've cleared out these enemies. I kind of want it to be just a quiet hall so the player can think. I am very sure about this. We're going to get rid of these enemies. I want the player to have some time to just sit and be quiet for a minute. None of these here. None of these here. There's a point where it just gets kind of monotonous, you know? Okay. So it's really quiet up here. They can just hear a distant public domain sound. Are y'all arguing about me? HFG, what's your problem, dude? All right. Okay. Oh, story notes, artifacts, newspapers, things to all that. That's going to be in August. Right now, it's just jump scares and like cinematic moments that aren't related to the story. And we can incorporate these story moments, like these artifacts. We can actually incorporate them into the jump scare. So if I wanted to, in August, I could say, oh, I really like that jump scare with the red light turning on. What if there's a big sign where it's like, or like text or blood on the wall or something? So that's what I was talking about earlier, where you just got to sort of feel it out, you know? But let's go ahead and enter this area up here and feel it, okay? We're going to feel it. I'm all about just feeling a moment. All right, let's feel it. You guys want to feel it with me? Let's collect our weapons. Okay, here we are. And none of the light is baked yet. So we'll need to bake the lights, but let's go ahead and get this upper area enabled. I have to enable certain parts of the level. Luxury suites. There we go. So I'm just hearing spooky public domain stuff playing. Do you hear that? It's not very loud, so we might need to make that louder. These need to be flickering. So let me write this down. Flickering lights in hall. You want to create a moment where the player's like, uh-oh. I think the public domain music's fine, actually. Okay, you guys ready? Let's see. Not very loud, was it? Okay, I have an idea. It's too light. So we got a problem with the. Why was that so quiet? It's really quiet. Where did our sound go? I was editing it, now it's gone. Is it this one? No. Yeah, there's something wrong there. Tracks mixed down to... Okay. For one, it was mono. So that was one issue. I'm gonna make it a wave. Jump scare. Lights turn on. Dot wave. It was really quiet. Okay, let's go back to Unity here. It wasn't horrible. It could be better though, for sure. Where the F is it? Hang on. There it is. So for some reason it was quiet, and then also I can see the room. So it's like pretty obvious that there's nothing in the room. And my theory is because the reflection probe. Let's bake the lights. And maybe we can remove the reflection probe from this room. You want it to be pitch black. Why was it so quiet? You know? Let's delete this one. Let's hear it. Why was it so quiet? Set to 2D. I think it's the reverb zone mix. We're going to zero it out. That's what it was. Good. Okay. Next up, I kind of like the idea of using a black fader that's like right here. So what I'm going to do, it's called fade to black. and it has soft particles on it. And so what you can do is I can actually put a quad here. Oh, this is gonna work. It's all magic tricks, guys. All of it. It's all magic tricks. You can paste it as a child against the jump scare here. Edit, paste as child. And I can put it right here. We actually don't need this here. And then we're just gonna do this. It's this black quad. As long as we can get it from corner to corner. Let's turn the lights on or off. What I can do is get it from corner to corner here. This will actually be pretty interesting to see if this works. I'm interested to see if this kind of magic trick works. You can make it go up pretty high. I don't think I have an issue with this. Okay. And we just want to rotate it so it's nice. It's going from corner to corner. Just like that. Okay, and what you can do, here's my theory, is if we put our fade to black material on it, like this one, you could just cover it. So this one here, I'm going to call this material fade to black jump scare. If I drag this on here, I can actually change the, wait, what? Hang on. Let's do this one. Yeah. So I just drag this here, guys, and then we want it to be like 2. I think we can actually do 4. And then if you set it to black, when they walk in, they won't be able to see through it. We really shouldn't be able to. I don't know why I can. I think it's just the fog. So here's what it looks like. What's going on there? What the F? Oh. Wait, what? Okay, it has to be white. I don't know why. So look, when the player walks in, they just can't see a thing, you know? And then that'll disable the moment the lights turn on. Now, if I were to just get rid of the fog here, it would look really good. You just can't see a thing when the fog's turned off. I just feel like there's too much fog on this level anyway. You know? Let's reduce it. And when you there it is. There it is. So this is without it and this is with it. So you really can't make out what you're looking at. So hopefully that feels a little bit better. So we're going to disable that. There we go. And we're also going to put an enabled state there. And it's going to be for this black quad. It doesn't need a collider. And we do need a new enabled state. GUID, we're going to solve GUI duplication. And guys, I think that'll do it. This will disable. The light will turn on with these. Ready to try it? Walk in. Boom. All right. Let's see if it works. Fingers crossed. Granted, we might have some issues with baked lighting for sure, but we'll see. We'll see. But we're going to just worry about, we're going to have it real time right now. So nothing's baked. Okay, let's open up this area. I'm going to load it in. See why I like silence? It's nice and quiet. With baked lighting, we're going to see a little bit more here. But right now, it's pretty black. Awesome. I want him to scream. I want them to scream. Like, just awful scream. I think it's good enough. All right. I think it works perfectly. We need to make sure it saves. I'm happy to yeah, let's test out the saving really quick. I forgot to do that. You want me to do my own? Okay, hold on. So this one here. Alright, we'll do something. I'm trying to think, like, what would scare me if I walked into a room? Like, a really aggressive... Check, 1, 2, and 2. Okay, try again. What? Jeb's scared. Okay, that's good. So we can take that. We can have like this initial pulse of a jump scare. But we need it to be a pitch change. Track, mix and render. This needs to be pretty loud at the front end. There we go. Track, mix and render. So at the front end, it's that big pop. Every time I do this kind of voice acting, Jeb snaps his jaws and he starts licking. and pacing the room. Okay, that sounded great. Honestly, I think that it's scary. It's what we needed. We needed we definitely, like, these kind of tempo changes are so important. I think they can make or break these kind of games because, like I said during the stream, chapter 2, 3, and 4, and 5 all kind of feel like a grind, and it's kind of exhausting. And so you have to stop the enemies from attacking the player. You have to give the player a moment to breathe. So let's go ahead and test this out. Thomas, did you do any voices for Pinstripe or Neversong? Yeah. All right, let's try this out. You guys ready? We'll also make it so that we can save. So I'm going to go to Game Manager Variant and say Enable Testing Inputs. The save input that we can press is V, and it'll save it, and then we can exit play mode and enter play mode again. So I'm going to save, actually. We'll save after. We also need to look at the baked lighting, see how it looks. Ready?
Lost in the woods. You just stepped into it.
Okay, let's save it. V, there it goes. Exit play mode, and then if I enter play mode, I should spawn right there. Actually, I think I'll spawn. Yeah, there's nowhere to spawn, but let's go here. Alright. Let's go look. It should... Okay, those are destroyed, so that it got saved. Those are destroyed, got saved. Good. It's all still here. So guys, that is how jump scares are done, at least in Twisted Tower. Gordon, thank you, man, because Gordon taught me sort of how to use the enabled states. AJ built that system, I believe, and then Gordon, you had to sort of learn it, and then you taught me how to use it. So that felt great. Honestly, we really needed some kind of moment like that. Let's bake the lights, though. This right here, this is going to be real time. I honestly feel like we really need a color shift. We really do need a color shift. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have brown down or yellow down here and then just blue here. Okay? So watch this, guys. I just want to show you kind of the value of actually reducing light and creating a big gradient instead with less light. So if I turn this one off, I'm going to replace that. All of these I'm going to replace. I want this long, like Stanley Kubrick type hole leading up to this moment and scaring the player. You want to just create this sudden shift in tone. See what happened here? So I'm going to flicker this one, reduce the light here. The spotlight, I never liked these spotlights. Okay. There we go. Very subtle. This one I'm okay with it being... Yeah, we're going to make this one flicker. So, get rid of that occlusion cam. I don't need volumetrics there. I don't need any of that. All I need is a flickering effect. Actually, we're probably gonna make this one bright. It's gonna be subtle and constant. Just like this. There we go. So it's gonna be flickering here. This one I'm gonna make it turned off. And then down here, we're gonna create a gradient of blue. I am always going to be more interested understand. Yeah, there we go. I'm always more interested in cinematic lighting than realistic lighting in this game. I don't care if this makes any sense at all. It's not something I'm interested in. What I'm interested in is, does it make the player feel like there's a beat, a moment? Does it scare the player? Is there something unique happening? So in this case, it's suddenly a big change of color. I don't like how this room is green and this is blue. That does bother me. What lock is this? Is this a blue key? Yeah, it's a blue key. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this a little bit more of a green tone. That way this isn't so subtle, so much of a striking shift. Bring this out like this. All right, let's see it. Let's feel it out. You guys ready? That is too dark. There we go. So that to me looks a lot creepier, and it sort of sets the tone. I would argue it's scarier to have it flickering down there, but let's enter play mode. This feels great. Do you see why it's so important, guys, to do these kind of changes? We'll make sure those are all real time. This needs to flicker as well. Yeah, it does. But it's fine. It's fine. There's so much that you could do, and you've got to find a point where you know when to quit. So that's set to baked. This one needs to be real time. Let's double check it. That's baked. We want it to be real time. And then what was it? This one down here. This would set the tone, wouldn't it? And then that one is real time. This one should be real time. Let's double check. Real time. Real time. Okay. We could bake our light now for the scene. Thank you, Eric. Realism implies a realistically functioning world. This is from Cybershell. Primarily great for simulations or immersive sim. Realism is totally fine depending on your genre. Like this game, it's supposed to feel like a fever dream. And so I'm okay with the light being I'm okay with the light being what would you call it? What's that movie? What's the movie about the dancing studio run by witches? Suspiria, but this has a Suspirian influence. All right, let's enter play mode. Take a look. This game reminds me of Shadow Man. That's awesome. I love Shadow Man. All right, so for some reason that is not receiving baked lighting, which I'm not going to worry about. It doesn't look horrible. It's fine. Choose your battles, guys. Does anyone see why this looks bad? It's just flat looking. It looks like N64. But whatever. Perks of making an indie game. All right, we're going to clear the save data. And now we're going to look at it without the lights on. Alex, Suspiria is an incredible film. It's one of the best films ever made. But it's one of those ones you're only going to watch once. In my opinion. All right, let's turn on the luxury area. Okay, it still looks good. It looks like a shadow's being cast right there. That is such a good jump scare. Hey, who was the person who came up with that? Round of applause. One of you in the chat said, make them right in front of your face. And it's a new jump scare, right? I haven't seen it. I haven't done a jump scare like that in this game. So that's great. Really cool. We only needed one. So, Thomas, do you have a spark of an idea for your next project? Yes, I have 3. And I'm so ready to begin. Hey, look. Guys, what just happened? We just finished the chapter 1 changes. We are a day ahead of our schedule. Woohoo! Okay. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Hey, if you want to shout out in tomorrow's video, live stream, feel free to check out Full-Time Game Dev below, like Ron did, and Kyle, and Evan, and Jessen, and Brent. There's 4,500 students worldwide. Check it out below. You're going to get 40% off for the spring sale. Look, guys, seriously, if you want to learn how to make indie games from an actual indie game developer, someone who actually makes games, Thomas, you're a YouTuber. I do a lot of things. I'm a YouTuber. I make games. I'm currently published by 3D Realms. I've had 2 other previous published games on every platform, Pinstripe and Neversong, published by Apple Arcade, Serenity Forge, Armor Games. Check out Full-Time Game Dev below. 40% off. You're also going to get my 2D and 3D art programs completely free. You're going to learn how to not only secure funding from publishers, you'll learn how to secure funding from crowdfunding as well. I've done this multiple times as well. 2 times on crowdfunding, was funded. Man, I lost my train of thought. On Kickstarter. 6 figures for both of them. The second one was like 90-some thousand with a post campaign, but still, it was basically 6 figures. Hey, and look, oh, does it work? Does it work? Well, Chris Stair got funded on Kickstarter. Bart Mamser got funded. Everflux got funded. Soltar found funding. Thomas found funding. Although I think Thomas's funding sources are different than, let's say, Bart's and Chris's. But yeah, I teach you how to go full time. That's the whole point. But how to make games as well with Unity, Godot, or Unreal. It truly is a great investment in your future. But look, if it scares you, I get it. If it feels gimmicky, I get it. There's a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if it's not something you like, just email me. And you don't even have to email me. You email my assistant and just say, I don't want this anymore. You get an instant refund. Okay? No skin off your nose. So check it out below. I love you guys. Thanks for hanging out. That was a lot of fun. Check out the webinar below if you're not interested in joining Full-Time Game Dev. This is a really sweet webinar. How to make